Punished by Nemesis is the second full-length album from Stress Angel. This is a Brooklyn, New York, or just New York City-based death thrash metal band, and one that has always had a little bit of fixation somewhere in between the definition of black and death metal in terms of representing an 80s style of both. One moment this might feel like a black death metal album, the next moment it'll feel like a black thrash metal album, but inherently this is an 80s death thrash metal album, and that's been what their efforts have been kind of all about since they started just a few years ago. Their first demo was back in 2020, and it was pretty well indicative of what Bursting Church, their debut LP, would be like. It was a fantastic record. I ended up buying it on vinyl and rating it pretty highly when I reviewed it. This band is a duo, so there's in a live setting, it really focuses in on the riffs, and I think that the drummer slash vocalist is very effective in what he does, but this is not an album or a band that is all about the vocals or the cadence of it. It's just kind of the echoing shouts into the void, and the riffs are really what carries the experience. And so the difference between this record and the first is basically production values, taking the songwriting a little bit more seriously, spending more time on it. You can tell that this is a second record when it's directly compared to the first. It's just better written and has a lot more layers to it. I don't want to say that it's more mature. That sounds kind of funny when it's, just an old school death thrash metal band. But we'll cut into a song here, and you'll see that this is generally a better recording, and it has a little bit more active bass guitar work, and generally just has more riffs. Now, if you're not familiar with the sort of space where the evolution of extreme thrash metal kind of gave tandem birth to black metal and death metal, and the way that they differentiated beyond the extreme thrash metal of the late 80s, you sort of find that a band like this is very much a thrashing record, one that is more akin to early Merciless or Death Strike's Fucking Death, and pretty much stays in line with that to start. Now, that doesn't mean that this is such an average record. The big thing is that they kind of slow down a little bit on this one. They let some loose kind of half-speed blasts in there, and they're what I call the fast and loose approach to the first record is tightened up here. And I don't know if that's so much for the sake of professionalism so much as just cutting more riffs and making more sense with them. So there are songs on here that have a little bit of like an early Autopsy feeling. There's sort of some slower pieces that kick around a little bit more, and on the first record maybe that sounded a bit more like Celtic Frost or something like that, but here they switch it up a bit, and it makes for a more active listen, a little bit more of an interesting go overall. But really, I'm here for the riffs, and that's what they bring. That's what this record is all about. If you like to stare at a guitarist while they cut like 100 riffs in about 20 minutes, I think this is my kind of band in that sense. And I love the classic style of the band. So I was pretty excited about this one. You can read more about that in the review. In general, I think for carrying like a 40-minute record with this style, they do a great job. I think that the album art is like, it's just kind of whatever at first. It's interesting enough, and it's kind of in line with the first record. And I think that to really gauge the lasting value of a record like this, I probably need to sit with it like a couple hundred times, and I'm getting there already. I think it's been a pretty solid record to sit with in March. So that's a high recommendation for me, and something that I'll definitely return to as much as I did Bursting Church back in 2021. Check that out if that's kind of your thing. You can listen to some songs on the site. It's already out if you want to hear the full thing, and read the review if you will.